Okay, so today I want to show you guys how I've organized my seed collection. I recently just reorganized the whole thing, or actually organized it for the first time ever, which is ridiculous. And then I'll just give you a little glimpse into my seed collection, what brands I like, what things I like to keep on hand. I just think that that's interesting to see like what different seeds we all like and prefer. If you're brand new here, my name is Tori. I am a Canadian urban homesteader. We have a little 1/4 acre house in the city, and our goal is to be as self-sufficient as possible and produce as much of our own food as we can. Okay, so here I have my whole like seed collection, all the things. And we don't have a garage, we don't have a garden shed, we don't have anything like that. One day we would love to put up a shed. We've just kind of made do without. So I have a section I have a big like pantry hall closet that is kind of like a multi-use closet, and I have a designated space for like gardening things. Obviously this doesn't include like shovels, and all that stuff stays outside, but this is pretty much all of my seeds, any type of like fertilizers. I don't really use a whole lot of that. Pest control kind of stuff is all kept in this basket. I'll just show you a few things. So I have like diatomaceous earth, I have like an organic tomato fertilizer. That's the only thing that I really fertilize, and honestly the only reason I even do that is because my neighbor has the most incredible tomatoes and she uses fertilizer, and she like convinced me. Normally I just do like compost and stuff like that. I have a whole bunch of microgreen seeds, and then I have some grass seed and a small bag of like soil for like house plants. There's some tulip bulbs in here. So this is just kind of like miscellaneous garden things, and then I also have my seed collection. I'm sure that this doesn't seem like very much to most people. Honestly, I'm pretty minimal when it comes to like gardening supplies. I don't, like I said, I don't use like tons of fertilizers or pest control, whatever. But this is what I have for my seed collection. And my little backstory, what inspired me to do this recently, is that I always kept these in just like a little like box. It was like this big, it was tiny, and I just had this like huge stack of seeds. There's no organization to them. I would take them out like probably once or twice every summer as I was planting, and I would go through and like see what I still have, see what I need, but it would just always be like seeds everywhere, and there really just like wasn't a system behind it. But I would always make sure to get rid of seeds that were like 5 years old, or if I had seeds that like weren't germinating anymore. And obviously different seeds some last longer than others. But I had this container, and last week I was planting stuff outside. I was planting like my cool crops, my lettuce, my spinach and stuff. And I left my entire container of seed packages, which is like 100 seed packages probably. I left the whole thing outside all weekend. It rained all weekend, and I found it on Monday. Everything was wet, and I think that I salvaged stuff. Obviously, I'm not really gonna know if the seeds are ruined until I go to plant them. But I basically just laid everything out, dried it all out, and I am praying that it's salvaged because it's like hundreds of dollars of seeds. So that would be very, very sad. But this was one of those projects that I had always meant to do and just never prioritized, because obviously it cost money, and I just kept putting it off. But after I did that, I was like, no more. I am going to get a waterproof container for my seeds. I'm going to organize them once and for all. So I picked this up at Michael's. This is just like a photo organizer actually, and there's lots on Amazon, Michael's. I'm sure that you can find these anywhere. And this seemed really big in the store. Like it seemed like it was gonna fit a ton of seeds, and I would say I'm actually like pretty much maxed out on like how many I can store. So I don't know that I would have got a bigger one because I don't really have a space for a bigger one, but you can kind of compare like your seed collection to mine, decide if you're gonna need a bigger case, because it doesn't actually fit as many as I kind of thought it would. So it has these little separate organizers, and there's 6 of them in this. This is the size of probably a 5x7 photo, and as you can see, it perfectly fits 2 seed packages side by side. This one's kind of crooked, but it perfectly fits 2 seed packages side by side, which is super cool. It's like it was made for these. But yeah, totally waterproof, flood proof if you were to keep this in like a basement or a room that could have potential flooding, or a shed somewhere that maybe isn't 100% protected from the elements. I wanted plastic because it's also safe if you were to store them somewhere where you might have mice or bugs or anything like that. Plastic is just kind of like a safe bet for all of that. I organized these into like categories. So this first one is like greens, and I'll give you a little bit of a up close tour of my seeds in a minute, but I'll just show you like the main categories. And I do plan on labeling these somehow. I just want to make sure that I like the categories before I commit to labels. So this second one is root vegetables. So I have radishes, carrots, beets, stuff like that in here. I plant a lot of root vegetables because I live in a cold climate, so these do really well for me. And then like cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkins, everything like that is in here. Okay, and then this one I have tomatoes, peppers, and beans. Beans are kind of random. Beans didn't really like fit in any category to me, but tomatoes and peppers mostly are in this one. I have a few different varieties of those. And then I have all different herbs, like medicinal herbs, culinary herbs, all different types of herbs are here. And looking at this makes me want to buy way more herbs. There's not a whole lot. I do tend to buy starts of a lot of my herbs just because I want to have them like in May and June. I don't want to wait until like July or August to like have my basil or my mint or whatever. So I do often do starts for herbs. And then the last one is flowers. So I have like zinnias, sunflowers, and I do try to make sure that I get rid of empty seed packages once they're gone. And I've seen people do this alphabetically. I've seen people that have way more categories. Like they literally have a separate container for cucumbers and a separate container for zucchinis, and I just don't have that many seeds. So this is what it looks like all closed up. It's closed, it's sealed, totally waterproof. So this works really well for me. There's definitely still room for me to fit more seeds into here. I've just kind of maxed out like the categories that I have. But let me show you a little bit of a closer view of my seeds and all of that. As you can probably see right away, I really love the brand West Coast Seeds. They're Canadian. They have lots of organic seed packages, and they've just worked out really well for me. I do have some not West Coast seeds. This is the brand Burpee. But as you can see, lots and lots of West Coast seeds. So spinach, Swiss chard, lettuce. This is my very favorite lettuce. It's called Pomegranate Crunch, and this just like grows for me all summer long pretty much, and it's just like the perfect, it's not bitter, but it's nice and crunchy. I also really like the brand Renee's Garden, but I don't usually grow kale, to be totally honest. We just don't really love it. So yeah, lots of West Coast seeds here, several different options for lettuce and spinach and stuff. So these are all of my root vegetables, carrots. I have these onions. I don't think I've had a lot of success with these. I really like these beets. These are really fun because they're like a mixed variety. So you get like the purple, and then these radishes are new to me this year, and they're also supposed to be like a colorful variety. Sometimes I just like buying kind of these variety packs because I don't have to buy several different packages of seeds, and I'm sure that there's pros and cons to doing it that way. Okay, and then this is my squash kind of category. Cucumbers aren't really a squash, but they fit there the best. This is the first time I've used this brand. It's called Amers Organic. I think that my local garden center had these. Renee's again, and West Coast Seeds again. These are fun. Both of these actually are fun. These are like a blue pumpkin. I've grown these a few times and they're fun. I usually end up feeding them to my chickens. And then these patty pan squash are super cute and easy to grow. Okay, and then this is like my peppers and tomatoes. So I don't do a lot of peppers because we don't have a very long growing season. So I think that peppers from starts would actually be better for me, but I am trying jalapeno this year. And then these are a couple of my favorite tomatoes that do well in our climate, colder climate. I did actually empty a few tomato packages this summer, so I usually have a few more varieties. And then I have both bush beans and pole beans. I'm going to try pole beans this summer just so that I can grow them vertically. I think that we will like that. And then here is all of my herbs. I love chamomile. It actually basically has turned into a perennial. It's basically a weed in my garden at this point, but I think it's really pretty, and I am not super particular about my garden being like perfect, weed free, whatever. So I actually like having chamomile just kind of growing wild through it. This one is actually kind of random. There's rhubarb in here, which didn't really fit anywhere else. And then I have dill and mint that I'm gonna seed. And then like I mentioned, I have like basil and a few other things that I've already bought from as starts. And then I'm not going to show you all of these flowers because there's a million. Flowers, I'm not as particular about brands because we're not eating them, most of them at least. This is like a Canadian small business, Lily Stone Gardens. I'll tag all of these different companies below, but I really like this company for flowers. They have lots of different options. Echinacea I grow kind of medicinally, so I guess it could go with the herbs, but it's also a flower. Yeah, there's just like a whole bunch of different stuff in here. Like I said, not as particular with like sunflowers and stuff. I just find that cheap seeds do just fine for those like really easy to grow flowers. So So that's my seed collection. That's how I've organized everything. If you have been meaning to organize your seeds and haven't done it yet, especially if you're someone who tends to bring them all outside with you and you are scared that you're gonna leave them in the rain, learn from me and don't make that mistake. It feels so good to have all of these organized and I can see what I have. I can see like what I need to buy. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't do this like 3 years ago, because this just is so much better and it was super inexpensive to do. So thank you for watching. Make sure to check out some of my other gardening, homesteading videos while you're here.